The answer to every question is via Mars. We went to Caesarea. We then went to Mount Carmel, following what road? The Via Maris. We went from the from Mount Carmel across the Valley of Jezreel on what road? The Via Maris. And then we went through to Sepphoris, right by Nazareth, up the same road. That road went all the way from Egypt. We followed part of it, came up through those cliffs that we just went by, called the Cliffs of Arbel, and into this plain. This plain is called the Plain of Gennesaret. And I'll point out a few sites along that road. The Via Maris went down into this area. That's the city of Magdala at the base of this hill. A lady named Mary of Magdala was from there. Went around Gennesaret. Okay, look on the sea. Do you see a boat kind of coming this way over by the shore, the far shore? Right above that is a white building. Do y'all see that white building? That's Capernaum. That's where Jesus centered his ministry. 3 years of ministry in that city right there. If you continue following the sea around, in fact, look way over there. You see kind of like a white spot, okay? To the left of there, we'll visit a city tomorrow, Bethsaida. Peter, James, John, their hometown. What did they do for a living? They fished on this lake. So the Via Maris comes through the Cliffs of Arbel, goes across the plain of Gennesaret, goes right by Capernaum, goes right by Bethsaida, and then takes a left turn, goes up towards, you can't really see the mountain of Mount Hermon, but it goes up towards Damascus, past Damascus, on around the Fertile Crescent and to the ancient empires of of Assyria and Babylon. This road, the Via Maris, connects Egypt with Asia and with Europe, okay? People would travel up and down this road throughout history. If you were an army, if you were a general and you wanted to control, done that. The Egyptians, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Persians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Muslims, the Crusaders, the Turks, the British, the Israelis. And I've left out a bunch. It is no coincidence that every army that has tried to control the world has marched up and down this road that we can see. And then looking at the Sea of Galilee, you can see in this area, just draw a little circle right there. 80% of the ministry of Jesus happened right there. 80% in just that little area. I mean, you can put your fist out and that's it. And yet, Jesus walking along the shores of this sea, this lake, called his disciples and kind of founded his own little army, an army of 12. And of all the armies of the world that have walked up and down the Via Maris, guess which empire is still alive and well? It's Jesus. I have to read this because first time I came up here, it was read to me and I still get chills. This is out of the book of Mark and Matthew. It talks about this plain. Let me read both of them. And in your mind's eye, I want you to visualize this king, as Jim has been talking about all day. This king of a completely different kind of army, but yet the only army that's still marching today. Just listen to this and try to visualize this event that happened right there. When they had crossed over the lake, they landed at Gennesaret and anchored there. As soon as they got out of the boat, people recognized Jesus. They ran throughout the whole region and carried the sick on mats to wherever they heard he was. And wherever he went, into the villages, into the towns, into the countryside, they placed the sick at his feet. They begged him to let him touch even the edge of his cloak. and all who touched it were healed. Another time, when they crossed over, they landed at Gennesaret. And when the men of that place recognized Jesus, they sent word out to the surrounding hillside. And people brought all their sick to him and begged him to let the sick just touch the edge of his cloak. And all who did were healed. I mean, can't you imagine a little boat landing and then people just streaming from these little villages, from those hills, to come see this man, Jesus, whose army is still alive today, alive and kicking and working. Jim?